Every winter, cities do something that makes zero sense. We literally burn gas to heat the air outside to keep us a little warm. But it keeps us freezing on the back of the body, on the other side of the body. And only 45% of people say that they actually enjoy this kind of heat. Now there is a company that said that they found a fix for that and they don't heat the air at all. I've said through this so many times and I always wondered, like, who decided that this was the best way to stay warm during the winter? Then I went behind the scenes and checked out the history of that. And it's kind of interesting how we ended up in this situation. Barcelona, 2011.
The demand for gas heaters suitable for outdoor spaces is higher than ever. Terrace, the first distributor in Spain, is selling more than ever.
Paris, 2019. Only 45% of people are happy with the warmth coming from gas heaters. But still better than not sitting outside at all. In France alone, the emissions of the gas heaters equal to 300,000 cars.
So it's a matter of putting an end to practices that constitute ecological aberrations. Heated terraces will already be banned from next year.
Germany, 2020. The ban becomes a headline. Munich, Germany, April 2022. No patio heaters, independent of their power source, are allowed to be used. For restaurant owners, this isn't about their green footprint. For them, this is about survival. We've got a famous restaurant owner here in Munich. His name is Hofreiter, and he estimated that this ban costs him like 30 to 40% of his whole revenue. Like, this is big. But the heater ban continues throughout Europe. Spain, December 30th, 2024. Tourists in Barcelona Historic Center were enjoying the last days of gas-powered patio heaters before their use is banned in 2025 because their carbon emissions. It's interesting. For years, we've solved winter outdoor dining by literally heating the air. And then cities are now saying, yeah, we're done with that. We're not doing that anymore. But this hasn't really changed that people just enjoy sitting outside. I personally like that too. I love those warm evenings where I can just have dinner with my friends and just sitting there long into the night. And if I can prolong that season, it's just a great feeling of life. It's quality. So we haven't really solved the problem. People still want to sit outside even if we have those bans. CO2 emissions from poison mushrooms, as many refer to gas heaters, already are a big improvement that we have moved to infrared heaters. We improved efficiency by some orders of magnitude, but we still didn't solve the comfort problem. But if we don't want to heat the air, what else could we heat? I mean, yeah, we could heat our clothes maybe. I mean, there's those solutions. It's a hassle, especially if you want to wash your clothes. And there's not that much other stuff we can heat. But there's one thing that we can do is we can heat the surfaces. Imagine instead of two big heaters that barbecues the back of the people and at the same time leaves you freezing below the table, there are 4 smaller heaters that actually heat where you need it, below the table, where your legs are. A Finnish team thinks that they've cracked the code. Why not heat the surfaces that we touch instead of the air? Kinda sounds logical, right? It's not only more comfortable, but the energy savings are huge. Energy use is significantly lower than from other options. That's the part that got me. We're not just talking about a small tweak. Like, the tables, they're only heated when somebody's sitting there. It's just so simple. It's like, why didn't we do this sooner? And emissions are also, again, a fraction of those infrared lamps that already had such a big improvement from the gas heaters. In real life, those metrics are probably even better. The chart you're seeing is actually being based on the table being heated all the times, but the tables are smart and they're able to detect if somebody is actually sitting there. So they only run when the table's actually being used, but outdoor dining and gastronomy is not the only use case for that. In Europe and basically the whole world, we're trying really, really hard to decrease emissions over the next years. But in order to avoid skyrocketing energy prices, we somehow have to solve the energy problem first. Here's some stats that I think are very crucial to understand what we're facing here. Those dynamics, they basically tell the story why warming the surfaces is kind of a very useful idea. Heating is 60% of total energy consumptions in buildings. This is 25% of all energy consumed in the EU and 20% of all emissions in the EU. So this is a big task. Have you ever had that feeling when you were in a room and the air was actually quite warm, but you're still freezing? And that's because really, really often the walls are very cold. I wondered, like, why is it like this? I took a quick look at it, and basically it's simple physics that I want to share with you. This is called radiant heat exchange. The surfaces around you with way more density than air are literally extracting the heat energy from your body. Imagine this. The walls actually providing you with energy instead of extracting it from you. And this is exactly what the warming surfaces are doing. They're kind of turning walls into thin heaters. With warming surfaces, you can have personalized heating on every surface. Let's get into one more example. The survey suggests around 2% of office hours are wasted due to the temperature alone, potentially costing the UK economy more than 13 billion annually. There apparently is a big difference between men and women in those kind of terms. And in general, people just like different kind of temperatures. At least that's what I've realized with all the different offices that I've worked in. What would be if you could just have your own climate on your desk, right? Like if you could set the temperature of your desk. With this, nobody would be cold or too hot anymore. Here's how newspapers talk about those kind of technologies. The warming surfaces company Outdoor Tables utilizing its unique digital warmth technology. New surface heating technology from VTT controls room temperature when and where it's needed. This paper-thin tech turns your walls or furniture into an energy efficient heater. Researching all of those facts kind of made me realize that there is so much more to heating than I thought there is. I assume that there's gonna be heaters in many places where we don't expect them yet to be. I mean, first we had them in car seats, now the steering wheel. It's the same with every technology. Just think about displays. I mean, first we had those big screens, right? You couldn't put them on your wrist or something, but then we've got the LCD screens, and now we've got the phones, we've got a screen on our wrist, and there's just like so much more coming. Every new generation of that just enables new stuff, and I think we're gonna see the same with heaters. So I hope you're seeing the same potential for this market as I am. So I don't want to lose any more words about that, but let's dive deeper into how this company is positioned to actually conquer that market. How did you come up with the idea and basically all the knowledge that you're the person that now brings something like this to the market, and nobody else like has done this before?
So the long story, relatively short. VTT had developed a new heating technology for more the military side, and they were looking for civilian applications. I just moved back from Portugal to Finland. In Portugal, I had experienced what cold feels like. Portuguese winters are really cold because most of the buildings are actually not heated. And of course, building that infrastructure in Portugal really doesn't make sense like it does in Finland. Everything is built for winter in Finland. And I oftentimes used to think, wouldn't it be nice to just have a small pocket of warmth? And that's why we started looking into, okay, could we bring heating into furniture? And by the way, historically, kotatsu tables in Japan, they didn't heat the air, they brought warmth to the tables. Same happened in Iran and Spain and so forth. So how do we create these pockets of warmth was really our thought as a means that I come here, it warms me, I move away, and I don't have to waste energy on the rest of the building. But this product came into existence because we had a board member from the construction industry. And she said, if you want to convince the construction industry, then bring this technology first to terraces. Everyone likes to sit at terraces, and they're in a public place, and they're first experiencing your technology and how comfortable it is. Then they'll start thinking, oh, could this also work in the buildings as well? She was the first one to say it. I was like, no, I'm not going to go into any terraces, and we're going to do serious stuff in the walls and the floors. But then France banned terrace heating. The emissions from terrace heating were equivalent to 300,000 cars in traffic. So it makes perfect sense from an environmental perspective to put a ban on those heaters. Problem is, 40% of all restaurant servings in France were outdoors. Now you take away comfort. That's where our light went off, and we were like, that's the market pain we want to address. These restaurant owners, they want to bring comfort back, and they need it now, but the law doesn't allow them to use those terrace heaters. That's when we were, okay, there's a business to put heating into furniture today.
What was the reaction from people? But you have some use cases. I saw the one video from the hotel. What were the reactions of the hotel's customers?
Well, people love it. I mean, first of all, they're surprised. If they've not been told that these are heating tables and they sit next to them and suddenly they feel this warmth in their lap, you see this reaction, like what's happening, and people looking underneath the table and really curious about what's happening here. But in general, the feedback is really, really interested in the hospitality sector. Throughout Europe, you're starting to see bans on terrace heating. And as a result, restaurants are suffering. They're losing sales. You take away comfort from outdoor eating, where are the people going to go? They're going to stay home. They're going to be indoors. So the restaurant owners are fascinated by the idea that we can bring emissionless warmth into the terraces. So I'd say that we have a lot of curious restaurant, hotel owners looking into this.
What are the applications that you personally are like most fascinated by, that you're looking forward to implement?
The challenge with this kind of technology platform, we offer a truly enabling technology platform, is that there's lots and lots of applications, which is a challenge for a startup. Is we need to stay focused, and I'm really happy we've stayed focused on this terrace table now. And I am really super excited about this, by the way. This will be a successful business in itself. But the biggest opportunity is in floor heating, wall and floor heating systems. We offer so many benefits when we're able to take heating away from below the floors to the top side of the floor. That's the uniqueness we offer. All existing heating systems in floors are below the floor material. And I could talk in length about the benefits of bringing it on the top side, like fast response, ability to control the warmth in different areas of the room, because we all have our different temperature needs. You could be there and have your own temperature, and I have mine right here. So we offer that possibility by being on top. Multiple advantages like installation. Out of all floor heating systems now, only 1 out of 5 go into renovation sites, so old buildings. And the reason for that is that if you hadn't installed a floor heating system when you were building the house, and you want to do so afterwards, you're going to need 3 to 10 centimeters of extra thickness to the floor to accommodate the floor heating system underneath, which is slow and more energy consuming. With us, you don't add any thickness, so you can install it effortlessly into any floor. And that's where it gets really, really exciting. You look at North America alone, there's 3.7 billion square meters of new flooring installed every single year. Now imagine if that came with heating. You're installing a floor and the heating at the same time.
How would a distribution channel look like? Do you want to sell this by yourself to end customers, or what is your position in this space?
So ultimately, our focus is on the Halia warming surfaces technology. So the heater technology, We want to be essentially the Gore-Tex of warming surfaces. We'd like furniture companies, interior surface material producers applying Halia warming into their products. And then you'd have a logo somewhere indicating, hey, this has warmth inside. Oh, of course, Halia. We want to make Halia the most loved brand for warming internationally. But in this case, in the early phase of the market, we have to prove complete products. That's why we put together a full warming terrace table. And currently, we are able to offer this to our end clients. We don't do the manufacture ourselves. We have manufacturing partners. This is fully produced in the EU. And yeah, we're ready to take in orders and ship.
How many of those can you produce?
Oh, that's a great question again. Essentially, it's a matter of scaling up to demand. If we start from the heater element itself, one single production line currently can produce 70,000 of these heaters per day.
Okay, so heating itself is not the problem. Like, how much of the rest of the table you can produce?
So then it goes to who are our production partners, what are their capacity at the moment, and I can't really speak to exact volumes. That would be disclosing partner confidential information, but this is a scalable solution. One of our first partners is Surforma, a Portuguese producer of laminates. They, in fact, receive the heaters from us, and they're able to put them into the tabletop.
Okay, so for now, you're running with kind of like two business lines. You're selling full tables.
Yes.
And but you're also selling the heaters to companies that can implement themselves.
Exactly.
And so the future scenario for being the GoreTex, you would still produce the heaters, or is that then like royalty only, or?
We have the patents for the production of the heaters. So again, we don't even produce the heaters. Our proprietary manufacturing process, we give a license to producers who produce for us, and then we sell to, say, furniture companies. We also then provide them with the control electronics. So at the moment, and in going forward, we will be the supplier of the heater elements that go into the products. But there's actually so much more. We can help with the design, and eventually we'll offer also the design software, making it easy for our customers to adopt this into their products. But a big part of the value capture is actually in the final use of these products. I met with a customer 2 weeks back who had done this calculation on the financial benefits of these tables in their terraces in south of Europe. And in the first 5 years, the savings and operational costs alone was 7,000 euros.
Where does it come from? Is it electricity cost, or?
Yeah, so the savings, operational savings, come partly from energy cost. So what they were doing, they were comparing one traditional gas heater with 4 of our tables. So they're thinking, if one gas heater heats 16 people, we need to buy 4 warming tables to replace that. And initial investment is obviously much higher. But then when you look at the development of gas prices versus electricity prices, very quickly we start to see that we're in a favorable direction using electricity. But then on top, we use less than 5% of the energy of a traditional gas heater. So the energy consumption is so much lower. Plus, we take away the need to handle any gas bottles, replace them, replace any parts in the heaters themselves. They have to be repaired quite frequently.
So the savings that they have, this is only from electricity cost, and but like, I mean, this means we don't even include the side of better comfort that people have.
No. So then on top comes the better comfort, and the Swedish company called Semcon did a study on thermal comfort of conventional terrace heaters and found 45% of people actually enjoy that warmth that is coming through them. And our tables offering 81% comfort. So 81% of people like the warmth coming from these. Of course, we want to improve it to make it 100. But coming into market with a product that it uses 5% of the energy and is almost twice more comfortable is quite significant. And when people are comfortable at the terraces, the expectation, of course, is that they're going to drink more, they're going to eat more, they're going to spend more time there. Of course, some restaurants would like them to leave and not spend so much time. We can also build in a warmth as a service aspect to this. So let's say you buy a drink at a bar and you get 15 minutes of heating for yourself.
You always get that when you buy a drink.
So either you drink more or then you pull out a phone and you order yourself more heating. So again, the restaurant owner is actually making some money from you spending time there.
How much is the margins for the products that you're currently selling?
Well, you bring to market a hardware product and there's always the initial costs of market entry. Also, we're a small player. We don't have established relationships with suppliers. So everything that we now buy, be it services or parts, it's a little bit high costs.
Obviously, the costs are going to go down. But right now, how big is the margin if you sell that? It can only get better from there.
Yeah, at the moment, we're between 25 and 35% gross margin.
Yeah, so we can later look at maybe not double, but definitely, or maybe double actually.
Yeah,
improved.
Oh, we can double it, and when we're delivering the heater elements, then it's really, really, really good, because the beauty of these roll-to-roll manufacturing processes is they're extremely effective. So the price points can be very, very low, and that affords us then to spread this out into the market very profitably.
Yeah, the roll-to-roll basically is like toilet paper, right? I mean, there's toilet paper is probably cheapest roll-to-roll factoring, and the other side is probably like cars where you have all those different parts, but roll-to-roll.
Yeah, I mean,
cost.
Don't get me wrong, this is not a simple thing to do. We have real inventions here. It's a somewhat complicated process, but it's not something that requires high CapEx.
But it's scalable.
It's scalable. There are actually thousands of machines in the world already that can be used for this manufacture. So we didn't have to make any investments into equipment. We developed this technology in the pilot facilities of VTT, and then we transferred that to first commercial producers. And we look to do that around the globe. So it's a low CapEx play.
Definitely. So let's assume we've got 30% margins with this, and we know that the end play is going to be a way higher margin.
Yeah.
Just to keep that in mind. But let's stay conservative. How much revenue would have to make that you're at break even?
Oh, the break even question. I'm running a startup that is looking to be globally big. So I'm not really focused on break even in the next 2 years. But if that were to be our focus, we actually wouldn't require much to break even. We'd be looking at a 3, 4, 5 million euro per year annual revenue.
How many B2B customers you would need to close to get to that?
Well, depends on the type of customers, but we're, I don't know, 10, 15, not very big. So if we just wanted to get to a profitable business, break even fast.
I mean, obviously you want to scale more. I understand that. Yeah. I would just want to set the lowest baseline. Like this is something that we've already got something that we can get to profitability. Like this could be like a really, really good profitable company. Obviously you can then do more investments to get into the even more scalable stuff. What's your end goal of that?
No, definitely. We want to make Halia the warming technology of the planet. We want it to be the most loved, most highly valued brand for warming. And if you think of heating or warming, what brands do you know? We want to make Halia the most valuable brand. So we want to get this technology into many, many different applications. But this heating terrace tables product in itself will be a profitable business and can be done so quick. I do want to get into those interior surfaces. If you look at floor heating, usually all big businesses start from some niche and you dominate the niche and then you conquer the rest of the world from there.
Oh, like this sounds a product that could be anywhere. To me, it really feels like something like once you know it, like, I mean, for the first time when you get like seat heating in the car or something, it's there to stay once you felt it.
It is. And this is basic laws of thermodynamics. Let me talk a little bit of the science here, even though this is more of a business podcast. One of the main reasons why we feel cold is because we are radiating warmth to the colder objects around us. So now when you're sitting in the presence of an item that is warmer than you, it's not sucking energy from you, it's actually making you feel warm. You go from a heated table to a non-heated table, you actually feel how you are giving off that energy. This is really shocking for people when they've sat at our warm table and then they go to a non-warming table. It feels miserable. And then they come and complain to me and says, thank you, now all the furniture feels cold.
Interesting that this comes back from knowledge that we already had. Like you said that in Japan and Iran, they use that. So now we're using basically the old knowledge and bring it to life with new technology that it's now to fruition.
The problem with the old technology, the ancient technology, is they would put hot coal into steel pans and put it underneath the table and drape the tables. Kotatsu in Japan, Corsi in Iran, and Mesa Camilla in Spain. Problem is, it's super, super hot, caused fires and what have you. This is just a modern way of doing it and integrate it into the furniture so it doesn't take up any space. It doesn't take up any extra space. New thing is you need a power cord to the table, which you didn't need before, but we can also bring batteries in.
Well, if you put a plug-in that people can charge their phones,
yes,
everybody's gonna be happy.
See,
like then we like imagine if you also have the induction charging on top.
See, you're on point. This is actually a big demand that consumers have these days. Is wherever they are, they want the possibility to recharge. So electricity is coming into terraces for that reason. So we don't need to be selling them an idea of putting the infrastructure.
You can charging as a service. Like if you have heat as a service, phone charging as a service, like you can.
So actually you're tapping into that. This is also a platform for many other functionality that I can't get into for confidentiality reasons. But this is an intelligent surface and we can do tons of things. But what's great about heating is a basic human need. And if we can do that better, it's a huge business. And then you have tons of other things you can build on top.